really enjoyed the vlog style video that I filmed a few weeks ago, so I wanted to sit down again and just have a quick chat. So I decided to ask Google Gemini what would be some of the top questions that people would want to know from a 51-year-old woman who's on a weight loss journey. And if you're new around here, my name is Amy, and I'm on a weight loss journey to lose 180 pounds. As of my last weigh in, I've lost 20 of those. So I have plenty of weight left to lose and plenty of journey left to share with you. So let's get into those questions. The first one was, what is the aha moment that made you decide it was time to prioritize weight loss at this stage of your life? So for me, it really came down to at January 2025 as the new year started, and I really started to think about what I wanted for my life in the future. I'd kind of been stuck in this pity party of not having a partner, not having children, not having anyone to help me. So I kind of just got in this cycle of just feeling sorry for myself. I just couldn't seem to catch a break as well, and I just felt that I just wanted things to be easy for myself for once. But then I realized I was just dwelling on that and letting my life slip away. No one was coming to save me. And if I wanted things to change, I had to do it myself. And I know that's so cliche. And in the back of my mind, I absolutely knew that. But I really just had to be like, okay, like I have to do this. So at that point, I started January 1st. I started with the Noom app. My health insurance company pays for that. So I signed up and I started tracking my calories, and I figured out what calorie range I needed to be in a deficit to start losing weight. So I started working on it that way. And also, too, like kind of one of the big weights on my shoulder was as I'm aging and was getting ready to turn 51 in February. I was really facing the reality that I didn't have anyone to care for me as I was aging. So I was just really concerned that I might become incapacitated by my weight or a weight related illness. And I really just didn't want that. I needed to be healthy enough to fend for myself as long as possible. I realized that watching YouTube, I was watching all of these people do these amazing things and live their life. And here I was sitting on the sofa watching them and not being able to participate in that. I would go on vacations, but then when I would get there, it was always very limited as to what I could do. So I just didn't want that for my life anymore. And I just needed to make a change. Okay, the second question. What's been the biggest mental or emotional challenge you faced during your weight loss journey, and how have you overcome it? So, I think for me, the biggest challenge has been how slow my weight loss has been. And I know I'm not supposed to compare myself to anyone else, but compared to my friends or compared to people on YouTube, I'm just so far behind. And I've just been working diligently to figure out why that is. Is it just really my body and what it wants to do? Am I just a slow responder to the medication? Am I not cutting enough calories or am I cutting too many calories? So, those are all things that I'm working on. And kind of the biggest way I've been overcome it, honestly, has been the use of the medication. I think the medication has made such a significant positive impact on my mental health. It's just been it's been such a great tool. And I'm so glad that I'm able to use it. And also, too, to kind of just really realize that I've kind of had to own up to this reality that this is my life and this is what I'm gonna have to go through if I want to lose this weight. This is the journey that I'm gonna have to take, and I'm just gonna have to be on it until I reach the point that I'm satisfied with my weight loss. I mean, ultimately, my goal is to get to the highest weight within the normal range to no longer be considered overweight. And if you look at the charts and the BMI indicators, that's 124 pounds, which for my height, it's just kind of the goal that I have in mind at the moment. So, question number three was also a question that came up from a viewer. Do I have type 2 diabetes? No, I have never been pre diabetic or diabetic. My highest A1C that's ever appeared on a test has been 5.6. Currently, over the past couple years, it's been sitting at 5.4. And I'm really encouraged that when I go get it done in about another 6 months, that it'll be even lower. Honestly, I don't know what is considered an ideal A1C. I haven't really found documentation other than it needs to be at 5.5 and lower. 5.7 to 6.4 is considered pre diabetic, and anything 6.5 and over is considered diabetic. So if you don't know what an A1C level is, I kind of looked it up to see what Mr. Google Pants has to say. And apparently, it's an indicator in our blood that shows what our average blood sugar has been over the past 2 to 3 month period. The test for A1C measures the percent of red blood cells that have sugar, also known as glucose, attached to them. The higher percentage of sugar coated red blood cells, the higher your average blood sugar has been over the past couple of months. So that's what the test is, and that's how they make the determination. As far as not having diabetes or prediabetes, I really attribute that to my eating habits because I've always been a person who enjoys and eats a lot of fruits and vegetables and lean proteins. I do have to avoid a lot of processed foods because I have a couple of food allergies that these foods tend to be hidden within most things that are out there that are not just plain whole foods that you get from the grocery store. And I also I can't eat most snack foods or junk foods or candy bars or cookies or commercially produced beverages because they have my allergen in it. That kind of does make make dieting a little bit easier that I've not ingested a lot of that in a long time. And then also part of the question was, why am I taking Zepbound instead of Manjaro? And this question did come from someone not in the United States. So in the United States, Zepbound is prescribed for weight loss medication, and Manjaro is prescribed for type 2 diabetes. Now, these are the same medication, but they're just under two names from the same manufacturer. I know that I've seen a lot of content creators from the UK who are using Manjaro, and I don't know their diabetic status, but like I said, here in the US, I'm prohibited from being prescribed that drug. So, next, what have been the biggest benefits of taking Zepbound? Really, the quieting of the food noise has been a real game changer. I wouldn't be able to continue on this weight loss journey without it. I know it's going to take at least 2 years for me to lose the weight that I need. I've also found that the medication has improved my mood and depression and increased my motivation. That's kind of how I ended up starting my YouTube channel, was because I was really just motivated to do something. I wanted to share my story. I wanted to kind of entertain myself and hopefully entertain and bring value to other people. So I think it's just been such a positive aspect in my life. Lately, I kind of really feel like getting up and doing more. And I really have a much more positive outlook on life. And I really feel that is 100% from the medication. And I'm really interested to see in the coming years if they start using this medication to treat maybe alcohol or tobacco or gambling addictions. I've kind of heard that the medication treats a very similar part of the brain, the receptors in the brain that control these functions. So I'd be really curious to see whether it's a game changer for other things. And then to balance that question, what has been the biggest downsides of taking Zepbound? Really, just the cost has been seriously prohibited. My health insurance is refusing to cover it, and it kind of makes me feel like a second class citizen because I really need this medication to change my life. Apparently, my obesity is not important enough to my healthcare company for them to be able to provide me the proper medication that I need to lose weight. Even though studies are now proving that healthcare costs are going down as people are minimizing the effects of their obesity related ailments, and it's all because they're losing weight because these medications are able to assist them with that. So I really can't wait to see in the upcoming years if there's changes to our healthcare system that will prevent people from using their life savings to just be able to lead a healthy life. I can't really say that gastrointestinal side effects have been a downside to this medication at all. Most of the issues that I have are actually from my gallbladder. I do need to have it removed, but I have to lose enough weight to have it removed. And honestly, really the only thing I ever get is constipation, but that is easy enough to deal with. I take magnesium citrate powder uh, every day, and I have no side effects from that, and it's amazingly effective. And I highly recommend. I use a brand called Calm, CALM. And I use that on a daily basis, and it's been great. I do not recommend that you get the one with calcium added. Calcium prevents the absorption of magnesium. So just get the plain unflavored because it will have no artificial sweeteners or anything else added to it. You just add it to a little bit of water and drink it. And then I usually chase it with about 16 ounces of water. On occasion, I do experience nausea, but it's kind of few and far between. And that's usually when my blood sugar's dipping too low because I do have a tendency to space my meals out too far or undereat. So usually I'll have something like a simple ginger candy that's sweetened with just sugar, and within a few minutes I'll feel better. This is a good question. What's been the biggest misconception about being overweight that isn't true? Well, for me, I find that I think people assume that every overweight person significantly overeats, that we just need to put the food down and we'd lose the weight. I am a notorious for undereating, which leads to my body not wanting to release weight or burn calories. Also, I'm very short statured, so I need very little calories in a day, and overeating for me is only about 2,500 calories. Um, Most people picture us eating between 5 and 6,000 calories every day, and for me, that couldn't be further from the truth. So I think people get these pictures in their mind, and they just assume that it applies to the whole overweight population in general. Two of my other favorites are that we don't know we're overweight. I'm sorry, how could I miss it? It affects every aspect of my life, from getting in and out of bed to putting clothes on to bathing myself, personal hygiene, standing at the sink washing dishes, reaching things in the cabinets, walking to get the mail and take out the trash. So yeah, no, I don't miss the fact that I'm overweight. And also too, sometimes they believe that we want to continue to be overweight because we don't put the food down, as they say. Yeah, that's just not true. But please know that I am not talking about anyone who is happy in their body as it is, even if the chart at the doctor's office says that they're overweight. Only they need to be okay with their body, and it's no one else's business to comment or judge on their weight. Okay, next question. What information out there on the internet and social media is the most harmful to someone trying to lose weight? For me, I really think people's lack of empathy and education leads to a lot of overweight people getting their feelings hurt. Um, I see a lot of times people typing out things that are just ignorant and have no basis other than their personal opinion. I think it's really detrimental to some people because they can be quite fragile about their weight, and it can send them spiraling and maybe lead to a huge depressive episode or binge eating. Also, it really bothers me when I see medical professionals uh, in positions other than specializing in obesity care when they're commenting on things such as eating a natural GLP-1 alternatives or doing things like cold plunges instead of taking medications that are specifically designed to treat obesity. And honestly, if I hear one more chiropractor chiming in, I'm literally going to lose my mind. I do not understand what it is with doctors of chiropractic care that think that they know everything about everything else. Just time and time again, I constantly see them on the internet preaching about something that they have no business opening their mouth about. Also, recently, I watched a gastrointestinal doctor talk about how he really rejects the idea of the GLP-1 medications because of side effects. He said he's seen some patients in his office that are using the medication with complications. Now, I completely understand that no medication is free of complications, but he did not address whether these patients had underlying conditions that could just be aggravated or brought to light because of the medication they're taking. Also, it's possible that the changes in their diet or other supplements they're taking could have triggered the gastrointestinal problems. So I think that before people make rash judgments on how bad the medications are, that they really should do more research into the root cause of what's going on with their patients. And also, they can't assume that the rest of the population is going to be the same as their patients. And if it's such a little tiny fraction of the populations that is having this problem, do you want to prevent the other millions of people in this world, hundreds of millions of people that could use the medications safely and effectively to change their life? I don't think so. I think the risks are definitely worth the benefit for the mass majority of the people using the medication. And for the last question, it was weight loss surgery versus weight loss medication versus doing it on my own. This is actually a pretty complicated topic, so I'm actually going to save that for a standalone video where I'd like to really go in depth on my views on weight loss surgery and what they would mean for me, and why I ultimately chose weight loss medication. Versus trying to do weight loss on my own. And I'm not making judgments for anybody who chooses weight loss surgery. I know it's highly effective for a lot of people, but it is just not a choice that I could make for myself. And hopefully soon I'll put a video out. I'll probably do a vlog style chat as to why that is not the path that I have chosen to go down. Also, in the same video, I'd like to discuss some popular TV shows, some of the popular weight loss TV programs, especially the ones that focus on morbid obesity. And I want to highlight where I think these programs have been unsuccessful. Now, I know they're really put together to be entertainment and they're not really meant to be taken as medical advice, but I think a lot of people cling to these with hopes that maybe something in these videos or TV shows could help them. But I think it's just sad that the majority of the patients end up gaining all of the weight back. A lot of them unfortunately have passed away because of their obesity. I definitely like to address that in the same video as the weight loss surgery question. So, just a quick weight update. Currently, on my weight loss journey, I'm focusing on a mini goal of losing down to 254 pounds by September 15th. Now, I started at 304. So, that would be a total weight loss of 50 pounds. And the reason I've set September 15th as my goal is because I'm going on vacation on the Wonder of the Seas a few days after that. And I'm ridiculously excited to see if my physical abilities improve on the upcoming cruise versus the way that I was on my cruise in February 2025, where I was at 300 pounds. Um, I really enjoyed being on the Icon of the Seas, but I was very limited on where I could get off. I did get off one day in St. Kitts and I did a minivan tour, but I was just absolutely miserably uncomfortable. They didn't leave me enough room in the seat, and I felt like I was crowding everybody, and I was just kind of sitting on the edge of a seat in a minivan going through all these bumpy roads and up these hills and valleys and all this good stuff. And I just felt like I could kick myself for not being able to lose more weight before that vacation. But, hopefully, if hitting 254 pounds before I go, hopefully it will make my cruise much more enjoyable. So I can't wait. I'm excited to see if I can get there. And I'll have my my June weight loss update video out around the first weekend in July, maybe Monday or Tuesday of that week because the holiday for July 4th. Um, and I also don't forget to check out my channel. Like if you're interested in cruising, I did put out a video on how to book a cruise for next to nothing, which is the one that I'm going on, the Wonder of the Seas. I did play in the casino when I was on my cruise in February in 2025, and I started receiving casino offers. And in my video, I go over what the program is, how to qualify, how to when you should receive offers, and then how to book those offers. And then some tips for like making sure you're not overspending if you're participating in the program. So yeah, like I said, just check out my channel and you'll see that video. And I think you'll enjoy it. So I do have 3 more weigh-in dates before I can put out my next weight loss video. Like I said, that should hopefully be out around the first weekend in July. The first couple weeks of this weigh-in cycle have been really difficult. I've been struggling with a lot of swelling, but I have a weigh-in in one day, and so far things have been really positive and looking great this week. So I really can't wait, and I'm hoping then the next 2 weigh-ins after that will be really positive as well. So I've been working hard to monitor my calorie intake and get to a level that's really working for me. So, thanks everybody for joining me today. And if you have any questions, as always, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And have a great day and keep an eye out for the next video.